So what's the best way to start working on assignments? Well, the idea is to do the software assignments first, and then after the software assignment, do the corresponding book assignment, because those book assignments are just a few problems that you're doing with pencil and paper from the broader software assignment. So let's go to assignment 1. Let's just look at the book problems. It tells us that the book problems are found in section 1.1 and 2.1. 1.1 and 2.1. So let's go back. And that means the software assignments will probably be found in 1.1 and 2.1 as well. And we could click on the software assignments, or we could go to the syllabus or the calendar and click on the software assignments. And we could start in on question 1, and off we would go. We would be learning how to do the problems in the class. That's the main point of this course. The only trouble with that is that it's pretty difficult for most people to do the math in a course without ever attending class. And yes, you would have the software to help you, and it can help you. For instance, if you click on question 1, and you'll see that there's a problem, and you might be able to do the problem, but there's question help. And it can help you solve this and give you another one like it for a grade. You can view an example. You can go to the textbook and read it. You could ask my instructor, which that's really not what we're set up for, but in an emergency, once in a while, you could try that. Email is more direct and faster. You could print it out. Sometimes there's a video available. So you could get help with these problems, but still, you're trying to do this without going to class. And so what could you do before you worked on the software problems if you found you needed some extra help? Well, the way to do that is to get into MyMathLab by the MyLab and Mastering. And now that we've purchased it, all the rest of the times you click on this yellow box, you will get directly into MyMathLab. Today it's been giving me an error message, so it'll be exciting to see if it actually lets me in. So far, it's not very exciting. So it finally let me in. This is the MyMathLab software, and there's a lot of things you could do in here. For instance, you could go to assignments, and you could get into the software assignments here inside of MyMathLab instead of doing them inside of Canvas. And there's pluses and minuses to that. It doesn't matter which way you do it. It's all fine. But here's a library that you purchased, and you might want to take a look at it. So let's go to the multimedia library. The sections we were interested in was Chapter 1, Section 1, Chapter 2, Section 1. So let's go to Chapter 1. Let's go to Section 1. Let's go to the multimedia textbook and do videos at the same time. Find now. You'll have to scroll down to see this usually. So now how do you attend class in an online class where there is no physical classroom? Well, the old-fashioned way is to go to the textbook and read it. So let's try the old-fashioned way. If you're my age or older, this might appeal to you. You have a textbook, you read it. Now I'm sort of poking fun of that, but there are some advantages to reading a textbook. You don't have to listen to a person drone on and on. You can make immediate decisions on what you think is important. Like some people would say, I don't think these words are important, so I am going to go down here and look at the example and see if I can figure out what's going on. Other people prefer the words, but this is your online textbook. You bought it. You might even want to read it. This is actually a fairly readable textbook as far as math textbooks go. So if you're a person who likes to read, this will have plenty of information about the kinds of problems that are being assigned. Some good examples, like this one's a really good example because you're going to have to do one like that. And then here are some of the exercises that you're going to be doing. These are the book problems here. So the book problems start here on page 5, and they continue. And so when you're doing the book problems, you'll come here and you'll simply write down all your work and the solution, and you'll do as good of a job as you can on those book problems. And there'll be a video on exactly how to turn those in and do them, an upcoming video. But let's say that you don't want to look at the book. You can't attend class because it's an online class. You don't like the idea of looking at the book. You want to do video instruction. So that's kind of like attending class with a slightly different teacher. Now, you can break apart the objectives, but in general, these two guys are the same as this. So I prefer just the top one. You can play with whatever you want. And I am prepared to be slightly annoyed by how this starts. It's got objective 1, it's got objective 2. I don't know why it's starting in the middle, but it is starting in the middle. And let's just see what we can listen to if we click.
Understand and use inductive reasoning to solve problems. Definition: inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is...
Notice I can pause him when I want to. You can't always pause a teacher in a class, but you can pause this guy. This isn't just him reading the book to you. This narrows it down. Some of the stuff in the book isn't here. This is supposed to be the heart of the matter. It's actually a fairly well-organized lecture. I don't know if you'll like listening to the person or not, but there's one big advantage to this over being in the classroom. Have you ever been in the classroom with a teacher who talked on and on about things that were not relevant to the course? I mean, they weren't tested, they're just jabbering. Well, here, if you think that you're looking at something that's not relevant to the course, you can fast forward this thing. You can go back and catch it again. You can fast forward through it. You have advantages here, real advantages, and you should use it. You're paying for it. You ought to use it. So a little bit more of this, and I'm going to then fast forward.
The process of reasoning to a general conclusion through observations of specific cases. It looks like we need to double or multiply by 2, right? It looks like we need to double or multiply
so again,
by 2
this problem's pretty
the original
important.
number.
So, you need to, most of you will need to go to class before you can do really excellent work on the problems. However, should you choose, you can try just jumping in and doing the software problems on your own. There's a couple things about software problems that I should tell you. Some people get all concerned about their grades. For instance, they start a software assignment, they do 2 out of 28 problems, they go to sleep at night, they wake up in the morning, and in Canvas it has 2 out of 28 recorded. Then they're concerned. Well, just go finish the assignment, and then Canvas will re-record your new score, and everything's fine. There's just no way to screw this up until the due date/time. When that due date happens, that's it. Everything's frozen at that point, and you cannot fix it for a better grade later. So other than the due date, there's just no way you can mess up. If you miss a problem, you can do it again and again, and eventually it'll give you a different one like it, and you can work on that one. You could, I suppose, spend the rest of your life on one problem, but don't do that. So that's one thing about the software that's important. Another thing is that, in general, the software problems contain the book problems. So almost always when you're working on a book problem, there was a software problem exactly like it. That's a pretty important thing to know. I hope this video's helped.